Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Today I got a project for the K5 Blazer here. I bought a hidden winch mount, which is going to mount me a Harbor Freight Apex 12,000 pound winch behind the factory bumper, and the only way you're going to tell it's even there is it mounts, like I said, it mounts back behind this factory bumper. You take the license plate off and the roller fair, or the Haas fair lead is going to mount right on the bumper, and you make a notch in your bumper for the cable to pass through, or the rope, I guess, synthetic rope. Anyway, started taking this off, decided I better get some video of it. So here's today's project. I think I've got 2 more bolts on the driver's side and 1 more bolt on the passenger side to fight. And I gotta get them by hand because I can't get my gun and my wobbly in there. So, okay, that wasn't too bad. I did have one of them break off that was in that pusher bar piece, which sucks because I think they're part of that. So I may have to go back together without that. Looks like the bumper's gonna look okay without it, but gonna need a bumper bolt. Anyway, so that winch mount mounts right up in here. I may have to remove these. Sorry, let's get you in frame. May have to remove these tow hooks and put them back on. I'm not sure, but I won't really need tow hooks if I have a winch, right, people? So we'll see what all is inclined there. But yeah, that big old cavern is where she mounts. So let's go get the box and see what we got going on. Okay. Here's the bolts for the winch mount. Not sponsored. I just found this and really liked the design, so I'll have a look at the instructions here, and I hope this goes on. Wow, that's pretty flat. I'm wondering about those tow hooks, if they're gonna have to stay or go, or we'll get that sorted out. I'll pull the instructions out. So of course the instructions don't say a thing about the tow hooks. It just says fit the brackets and install them. It looks like this bracket's not even gonna unless all this other stuff, these bolts, all that stuff's got to come off to hold these in, I guess. Those 2 rear bolt holes are going to be those 2 cross member braces, this bracket, and the tow hook may have to come off. At least this bracket looks like it has to, and then these 2 bolts look like they're going to hold it in on the front here. So looks like I've got some more disassembling to do that's not included in the instructions. Thanks, guys. Okay, I'm bringing you in with an update. That bumper bracket was the one that was bolted back in here. Those are nuts on this. No, they're bolts that go through this side, and they're captured. You can see that on that side there. There's captured nuts welded. And then the corner brace here is this guy here. It's just a frame mount. So I got both of those removed, but I still have this guy that's protruding from the, you know, that's an 1/8 inch bracket there that's protruding from the flat part of this frame here. There's none of this is explained in the instructions, so that's kind of why I'm sharing this, is for future benefit to people. But you grab this bracket and yeah, it's gonna line up with those back 2 bolts and these forward 2 bolts, but it doesn't say anything about that plate. That's, you know, and it looks like it has the provisions for all the other rivets, except for, you know, the one that's on the plate here. That's that one there, that forward rivet, and this offset in the plate. So I think I have to grind these 2 rivets off, and then my cab mount is only going to be held on with these two. So I think I'm going to grind these two off and then just kind of tack weld the cap mount on the other side of the frame, so I can, or put a bolt in back in this one here. I'll look at that too, but maybe I'll bolt this one and then just tack the forward piece of the cap mount there. But I'll include all that on the video. But yeah, there's a little bit here going on that's not explained in the instructions. That's quite critical. If you were just a DIYer that didn't have a welder or any means to modify your truck, you'd be in trouble at this point right here. So I'll share my experiences. This passenger side bracket's the same way. I just took the bumper bracket off and the tow hook off, and it looks like it's gonna bolt in back here where the bumper bracket came off, and up here where the tow hook came off. But again, I have that frame plate with 2 rivets in it, so I guess I'm gonna get my grinder out over here and we're gonna take these frame plates off and modify my cab mounts. So just FYI, you guys get into this kit, I hope you're doing it at a place where you can do some fabrication, because it's needed. Alright, 2 cords later, I've got to run from my shop here. Tech tip: if you guys tie a cord, or tie a knot in your cord where they plug in together, you won't ever pull them apart when you're laying under a truck and you yank on it and it comes apart. That's a pain in the butt. So anyway, I'll put you guys on a time lapse and I'll get those 2 rivets ground off. So once those rivets are removed, this bracket sits flush. Okay, I just finished doing the same thing to the driver's side. Took that plate off, and now this winch plate sits nice and flat against the frame there. So I'm gonna bolt it back in with my tow hook brackets and see what I get here. Okay, I've got my tow hooks installed on both sides here. Everything's just kind of loosely fitted. So this bracket's fitted with the bumper. Those back bolts are on the bumper bracket there. So everything's loosely fitted, and it says the next step is to install the winch tray to the winch to the winch tray, and then fit the winch tray up in there. So we'll do that. You say hi, Mallory. Say hi. Say hi to everybody. Say hi. Can you wave to everybody? All right, guess not. All right, so here's the winch that's going in the tray. Brand new in the box. We're about to bust this guy open and stick it in there. All right, quick update here. We've got the winch mounted to the tray and wired. And yes, we did test it because of my experience with the Harbor Freight trailer winch. This one does work. So we're just waiting on a third person here to help lift this thing into place and get some bolts on it, and we'll get her installed. Alright, so we just tried to put that thing up in here, as you saw in the time lapse, and it looked like it was going to go in from side to side, but this cross member piece, being that deep and being faced forward, wasn't going to allow the solenoid housing of this Harbor Freight winch to fit up in there. So I think we're going to take this winch off of the plate, fit the plate up in there, and go from there. See what we got. Maybe I'll put a different winch up in there, save this for my buggy project, or I don't know, cut this cross member out of the way. I kind of hate to do that. Plasma cut the edge of that cross member out down on this lower portion here. I think I'd rather put a different winch in before I did that, so we'll play with some options. Well, hello and welcome back. Hey, it's been a couple of weeks since we were on this winch project for the K5. I think I've got the solution here to show you. So on the bench here I have this old beaten down winch, busted parts on it, sketchy looking synthetic rope, cut in pieces. I picked this up super cheap on the local classifieds here. So and it looks like a smaller frame. It's a 9500, so it's not quite the 12 that I wanted in the Blazer, but it looks like it's gonna work and fit in that frame. So I found one of these on eBay, so I'm gonna change that out and get that going, and then we're gonna hook this up to a piece that I bought on Amazon for $100 because the solenoid pack was missing off of this guy. So $102 on Amazon. I bought this solenoid pack with the controller and all the wiring, and then I'm gonna hook all that stuff up and see if this winch actually works, and we'll go from there. And then I'll see if it fits in the tray, and then the Blazer will have a winch if all the, you know, all the stars align here. So let's get working on this. After a whole lot of screwing around here, I think we're ready to test. Everything's just kind of mocked up here on the bench. It's a mess, I know, but like I said, it's just for testing to see if this guy works. I still don't know what this thing is. It's not on the diagram anywhere, but I think this is correct. I don't have a loop on my ground wire, which could be problematic because I'm just gonna try to touch it on here. Okay. And then here we go. Sounds like free spool. Okay, and that could be my battery. This guy is a bad battery. I just charged it up enough to test here. So far we're looking decent, I think. Well, you'd think I'd be an expert on this subject after doing that Harbor Freight winch didn't work video. So I actually had to go back to that and decided that these two terminals here were my ground, or excuse me, my power terminals, and that this was for my black wire. This is the yellow wire on the Harbor Freight, and is actually the yellow wire on this winch too. So I went back to that video. These are two powers. I put them on there. Got the ground on there now. Let's see if this thing works in both directions here. Put you guys down on the table here. Try to get you in frame. All right, I gotta touch my ground on here now. Yeah, now we have movement in both directions. Very cool. That was it. So, sweet. Now I can label these up and we'll get this thing in the tray, see if it fits. That's the next project. Right, it's a moment of truth here. Gonna see if this guy fits in the mountain off-road tray. Or if I gotta go back to the drawing board, so. Oh, look at that. We're in luck. We're in luck. Nice, the Badlands didn't fit in there, so I'm gonna bolt this guy in there. All right, there it is, all bolted up. It's not tight because it takes wiggle jiggle and about 3 people to get it in the frame there, but man, the winch mounted up nice in there. It's gonna fit okay, I think. So yeah, next step is to get it in the Blazer, and that's gonna have to wait till Sunday because tomorrow's the anniversary and I promised the wife some mountain biking. So I spend this evening going over the mountain bikes. They're right there, making sure they're sound. But yeah, we'll throw that thing in Sunday, and the rest of the pieces are right here. The bumper brackets, the tow hooks, and the shark's teeth there for the bumper. So we'll get the rest of that. Those are the bolts for the fair lead. So see you Sunday. Hello, it's Sunday. We're getting back on this winch project. Kyle's into here making all kinds of noise right now, trying to get the bumper off. So we're gonna pull this bumper out of the way, slide that winch in there, and see what we get. So here's hoping that all this stuff works out. All right, gonna see if I can film this and play catch too.
I got a bumper.
I got her. Okay, bumper's off. Sticker over here, hopefully out of the way. Stay. Okay, bumper's off. I hope we can get that thing past these is the only thing. Yeah. It's gotta have a lot of play to get past those, so here's hoping. Let's see what we can do. Okay, so we decided to take these forward bumper brackets right there. There's the removed one.
Look like almost kind of looks like a frame horn or something.
Right, whatever you want to call that thing. But now that winch bracket's just gonna slide right in there, which is gonna make life so much easier. So Kyle's just finishing up taking the driver's side off here and throwing tools everywhere. And then we'll go get the winch and slide it in there, and we'll put you on time lapse for that. Okay, so she's in there. We had to bend this part of the frame down with a big crescent wrench to get the bracket to slide in there with the winch bracket. And now we're just fitting everything finger tight. I've got my tow hooks back on there. The winch, you know, all this stuff's just finger tight at the moment here. And then we got to get the rear, these guys, the outside bumper brackets on and fitted. So they're marked, Kyle. They say driver side, DS, passenger side. So let's get them on and in position and loose, and then we'll start tightening things. Okay, I didn't film a lot of this because it was a lot of back and forth to the toolbox and running around and cussing and swearing, to be honest with you, pinching fingers to get things in and lined up, and it would have been some boring footage to watch. But there it is. It's all in. It's all tightened up. We did fit the bumper. The bumper lines up on most of our holes to the point where we can flex for it. So yeah. So now I'm just faced with cutting a notch in my chrome bumper and mounting the fairlead to it. So that's next on the agenda.